Welcome to another Between Two Bookshelves. I have here the very talented Ashley Hendershot with me. And if you haven't been here before, any proceeds that we get from this show via you going to buy any books through our Amazon, go to our Room to Read nonprofit. And you can catch us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and all you need to do is just look us up on as Between Two Bookshelves. So, Ashley, what book are we doing today?
We're doing The Execution Factor by Kim Perrell. And I had actually never heard of Kim Perrell before, but she's a pretty big deal. Her story is really inspiring, and just to give you a really quick rundown, from a really young age and as a child, she grew up in an entrepreneurial family. And so that's a life she wanted to lead as an adult. And so from a young age, she was an entrepreneur and found great success and is now an angel investor. And so this book just takes a deep dive into what it takes to have the execution factor in order to do this for yourself as a leader and as a business person in general.
So awesome synopsis. Yeah. I mean, in general, the book was pretty good. I think it touched on a lot of things that are pretty general, but super important. Mm-hmm. And so I guess with that being said, maybe we can just jump right into the reviews.
For sure. So we have up first readability. And for you guys, if you've never been here before, we grade each book on 5 different topics: readability, relevance, applicability, value versus expectation, and then the butterfly effect, which is how excited does it make you and does it motivate you. So at first we have readability, and I scored readability really high. Just because it was a really simple read. In her introduction, she talked about how she wants it to be, she wants you to be able to read it really quickly and easily. And so this book I found was an easy read. So I did it at 1.75. Very low level language, and that's not a bad thing. Just there wasn't a lot of big vocabulary or things that I didn't understand. And so that's why I ranked it so high out of 2.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm going to give it a 1.65. And I'll agree with that. I think they used good storytelling, quick and easy quotes, pretty simple and straightforward, family stories and stuff like that, and stories that were literally just taken from her life. A little redundant sometimes, and maybe a little elaborated on some of the things that it's just okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. So I kind of felt myself saying that, okay, didn't you just say that a second ago? Thank you. So, but yeah, I'll give it a 1.65 on that one.
Cool.
So execution is everything, right? Obviously, if you can't score in football, you're not putting up the points, so you can't win the game. So defense helps you win. Defense is everything, but if you don't put the points up on the board, you can't win at the end of the day. So, execution really is everything. And she broke it down in a way that there's really 5 fundamental factors that kind of have to be taken care of and worked on regularly in order to be able to execute to the fullest. I think it's very relevant. I think it can be used in just about anyone's life, whether you're a leader, whether you own a business or don't own a business. I mean, you have to be doing things, right? She explains a lot of times how to just be more ambitious. With that being said, I'm going to give it a 1.2. I think it was good. She gave solid examples. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to stick it. 1.2. I think it was relevant. It had everything it needed to have. Maybe just not like top of the bar, maybe.
Okay. So if you haven't read the book yet, Kim Perrell has a lot of online things that can help you through the book. And a specific thing that she has and she requests that you do before reading the book is take her success test. And it basically kind of shows you how you lead or how you attempt to execute. And so there's several different ways, and it's broken up into those 5 things, like Attilio was saying. And so having taken that test, I found that the book was super relevant and kind of pointed out my strengths and my weaknesses. And it was really good about that, a good refresher on kind of what I need to spend my time bettering myself on and what I'm already good at. And so I thought it was super relevant. I think the cool thing about this book is it's very entrepreneur centric, and it's great for somebody who wants to start up their own business. I think it's even great for a college student who's just trying to push through graduating and is trying to figure out what is their passion, you know, are the people in their lives giving them energy and helping them through this time, things like that. And so I think it's a really relevant book for a lot of different types of people. And so I give it a 1.75 on this, and you'll find that pattern throughout the rest of my scores too, because I think this book was really great and I think it was relevant and easy to read. But like Attilio was saying, I just don't think it was like mind-blowing concepts that I've never heard before. But it was a really great reminder. And so I did mine just under the bar of 2. So at the end of every chapter, she had like little reflections for you to kind of grade yourself, a little work to do. And so that was really helpful too. And that kind of takes us into our next subject of applicability. How easy are the concepts that she tries to portray in the book to apply to your life. For me, I rated it at a 1.5. I think that there's a lot of really great, really simple concepts that are easy to apply, like figuring out who in your life is giving you energy. One of the 5 things is relationships. And so are they helping you to get to your goal? Are they holding you back? It seems simple, but it may be really hard to do. And a lot of this stuff is simple but deep. And so that's why I rated a 1.5, because if you're really not in the right mindset to make some of those changes, I feel like it might be just a book to read and maybe not like a life-altering something or another. So
I agree with that. I think it's easy in the fact that I think in the middle of the book, or maybe like 3/4 of the way through, she kind of breaks down like, hey, listen, you're going to be taking action, and so you're going to be failing, period. And expect to fail, and it's okay to fail. Just fail quick, fail fast, move on to the next thing, do the next thing. As long as you're executing and you have that North Star, your vision, you can amp people up and you're moving in the right direction. It doesn't matter how often or how much you fail. And so if you're not accustomed to that type of mentality, this book might give you a little bit of permission.
or anxiety.
That's permission. Yeah, or anxiety, you know, if excuse me, if you're used to, or if you have anxiety, maybe you're a perfectionist. I think maybe that relates back to our book that we did last, you know, the Brene Brown book, where she's like, just stop being a perfectionist. So honestly, these 2 books kind of went hand in hand really well. But yeah, I really think that I'm going to place this a little bit higher up on the totem pole, because she does give you that permission. She does tell you that, hey, no one is perfect on any of these. She's always working on it. You're always going to be working on it. These are just the things that you need to keep in mind. These are things that you need to have aligned. And so to me, that kind of breaks down the wall and breaks the pressure down for me. So I'm actually going to give it like a 1.8 for that score.
Yeah. And some cool things to note is like, I feel like statistically, the book points out that the adult population in America, only I think like 34% of them have goals that they like have registered in their mind. And then less than 1% of those people write them down frequently, is what I think I remember. Is that the right stat from the book? Do you remember that?
I think it was like 20% or something like, or 30% maybe, that actually write them down.
Okay.
But then only 1% of them actually like do it, I guess. Okay. So like to them, I think it was like some weird low number that people don't accomplish what they write down, basically, or what they want.
And so that was really jarring for me, because I feel like I'm such a goal setter, and I like to like write things down and like check them off and do things like that. And I've learned that I'm very vision oriented. And so that's just me going towards the vision that I'm wanting to do. But there was a lot of internal like reflection that had to be done within this book that talks about like, can you describe your North Star, your vision, what you're trying to accomplish in one sentence, telling it to somebody else? And I was like, probably not. I have a lot of things I want to do. So it made me search a little bit deeper for like why I wanted to do all of these things on my big to-do list or goal list, and kind of simplify it back. And so for her, it was a lot of financial freedom and control freedom and being able to kind of make decisions on a whim. For her, that was super important. And I found that was kind of myself too. And it had me kind of backtrack and reflect on different decisions that I've made in my life previously. And so that was pretty cool. But this book overall took a lot of internal reflection as you read, if you read it correctly, I
think. Next one is, so let's see, we went through readability, we went through relevancy, we went through, that was just, what was that score? Applicability, yeah, how easy it is to apply. And now we're at value versus expectation.
So,
no. Sometimes it's a little harder to go back and forth on this Zoom call.
Oh, there's like a lag.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Did you have any expectations for the book? Did you know anything about this book?
I didn't know PERELL. I don't even know where we pulled this book from. It must have been probably from one of the bestseller lists or something like that. So not very high expectations. I noticed almost immediately, though, that this book went really well, really hand in hand with that Brene Brown book that we just read. So I'm wondering if maybe they walk in the same circles, or maybe it's just two amazing women who just like straight up came to really solid, similar, kind of along the same line conclusions.
Yeah.
And kind of had different ways of explaining it, which I thought was really cool. I'm going to go ahead and say I flat out didn't have any expectations for this book, and I thought it was really powerful foundationally. And so value versus expectation, I'm going to give it a 2, honestly.
Oh, nice.
Just because it's so foundational.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's just certain factors in there that not many people talk about, or you have to kind of like sift through a lot of things to get to the same conclusions. And so instead of working your way up to it by finding motivational quotes on Instagram or going through different leaderships and seeing how these different leadership styles are, and doing all this like research and long time engagement with the community, this is kind of a quick shortcut to everything you need to know about getting things done in a quick, concise manner. Mm-hmm. So a 2 from me for that score.
I think this is one of those books that we put on the list for high schoolers should read this. And they like skip a lot of heartache and trouble that they would go through. Because I feel like it makes you learn about yourself a little bit, like I was saying in the last score. And so like, had I known these things or traits about myself that I've already kind of come to learn now into my adulthood, but if I was younger, if I could have learned them quicker, I maybe would have done something different. I don't know. So for me, I didn't know anything about the book. It was on the bestseller list. That's where I pulled it from. But I came off a really big high from the last book, which was Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I love that book. I'm so excited. By the way, I just found out she has a Netflix series, so I'm about to watch that, and I'm really excited about it. But so I I don't know, we haven't had a whole lot of female authors, and I agree with you. There's something tying these two together, but I felt like the value on this versus the value on that, Dare to Lead versus Execution Factor, it wasn't quite matching up. I felt like I got more from the execution or from Dare to Lead. And so for that reason, I'm giving it a 1.5. There was still so much value, but I think Brene Brown has a little bit more time and education under her belt, which education isn't always the best way to gain your knowledge, but she has studied this and has a little bit more insight into like the brain and the psychology of it all. And so that's why I think I just can't help but compare the two. And that's why I'm giving it 1.5. It's amazing. And they're both amazing women and amazing businesswomen, but that's why. Our last scoring factor is the butterfly effect. And so does this give you butterflies in your stomach? Does it make you excited? I have like a little butterfly drawn on my paper. For me, this book kind of realigned me with my vision. I think I've been super bogged down with a lot of the things going on in the world right now. And there's a lot of very serious matters that I stand behind and support. But I've just not been in alignment with what I'm trying to accomplish. And so this book kind of brought me back down to where I need to be going. And so it did get me back on track, but it didn't really give me the butterflies that I've experienced with other books. And so it's definitely a solid 1 for me. So it gave me some motivation. It moved my feet. It gave me to make some, or made me make some actions. But not like over the top. So I'm giving it middle of the road 1.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually pretty close there with you. It was pretty motivational, and it made you think while you were reading, and it definitely helped point out and helped me put a name to the face, kind of, if you will, on my weaknesses and my strengths, and how to maybe find other people's weaknesses and strengths and use that so that way, so that you can take more offensive movements. I think maybe I want to print out a couple big ideas and like put them on a poster.
You keep saying every time, every book we're reading, you say, I want posters.
Yeah, for real, I'm about to like make a poster collection. I'm gonna have a huge office space, or like have hallways just lined with goods. But yeah, like I feel like it's like one of those where it's like, yeah, I'll have something to just kind of remind me of it. Maybe like a sticky note that just reminds me, or a note in my phone, or a calendar day to just remember to like go through it again really quick. But yeah, it didn't really like inspire me or make me want to take like huge action steps. And maybe it's because I already feel like we're doing pretty well at executing. Like we have an organization here. We have people who are working. We have people who are motivated. There's passion, but maybe there could be more passion. There's vision, but there maybe could be more vision. There's innovation, but maybe there could be more in it. So I'm going to give it like a 0.9. And it's right alongside where you were at. Not huge butterfly effect. She did give some like actionable items. She did give some resources. I just didn't feel it as much as maybe some of the other books that we've had. Final scores?
I got a 7.5, I think. I've changed a couple of my scores along the way. Yeah.
Yo.
Did you get a 7.5?
I got 7.55. Yeah, that's about as close as it gets. What book do we have next? What can these lovely audience members of ours be looking forward to?
Like crazy. And you picked that book, right? Or was that me?
I don't remember at this time. Probably should make a note for the name. it might be something that I chose. Who's the author for it?
Sabri Subi, if I'm saying that right. I could totally be sounding super white right now.
I think he is at least I think I know the last name, Subi. I think he's like a ClickFunnels guy. I
Okay.
think he's I think he's like a 2 Comma Club. So pretty acclaimed marketer, maybe. We might need to double check, but yeah, that sounds like maybe something I just saw around and maybe wanted to pick up.
Yeah.
So I think I think he has a little notoriety.
Cool. So we've been kind of on a self-reflection, leadership, execution, big view books, like lifestyle, almost like business lifestyle mindset books lately. So this one seems, from the title, to be a little bit more focused on selling. But don't we sell every day? We sell ourselves, right? So
Well, cool. I guess we will catch you guys next time. Please go check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe wherever you're at. And if you find you are inclined to maybe get one of these books, please don't hesitate to click one of the Amazon links that we have associated here. We give all our profits over to Room to Read. It's a nice little foundation that we think fits really nicely with what we're doing on this series, and it helps out some really good people. So
yeah. And if you guys have any suggestions on some books that we should add to our list, let us know. Hit us up, comment, message us. We're super open, and like we said, we're trying to read more books this year than we ever have before in our entire lives, and so we're ready for the challenge.
all right, we'll see y'all. Thanks again for another Between Two Bookshelves.